Yo, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the latest episode of Meter Burn. I have such a wealthy amount of information to pass on to you guys. But before I get ahead of myself, let me introduce the guest that I have here. But first, starting with my co-host, Miss
Hey
Katie. How are
everybody,
you, lady?
what's going on, Bobby?
What's going on? You've been out of commission
Out.
for a while.
I was out.
Like we haven't done the show in about
I
3 weeks
know.
now. For those of you who don't know, Katie has an unfortunate accident during the month
Yeah.
of November, so she's been kind of like resting up and
Yeah,
healing, right, Kate?
I was rear-ended, not in a good way.
Uh, Whoa, all right.
Whoa.
Oh my
This
god.
is supposed to be PG. But tell us a bit about like what happened and
Oh,
like
here we got a hot mic.
sorry.
Wait a second. Uh-oh. Oh, I said it was a
What?
hot mic for some reason. Um, no, so anyways, I was stopped at the bottom of a ramp at the edge of this highway, and this girl just decided not to stop and smacked into the back of my car. So, yeah, pretty crazy.
Dude. So how long is it gonna take for you to get better?
Here, wait 1 second. I don't know if that's my computer or. Oh, it's mine. That's why. Sorry, I was hearing all this
Uh-oh.
feedback for some reason. I don't even know why. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
no, so basically, when it happened, I looked up in my rearview mirror and she was just going, "Oh my gosh," and I thought, "Oh man." So I just hopped out of my car and went to see if she was okay. And I guess she was coming down this ramp and didn't realize how close she was. She turned around to stop her dog from sliding off the back seat and didn't put enough pressure on the brakes, and I got hit into. But and I ended up going home, and I thought I was, fine. And then the next day, I would look down and get really nauseous, and I would turn my head and get real dizzy and horrible headaches.
Right.
And even now, taking lots of Tylenol, words, once I get really started in a conversation, words are kind of hard to pull, and yeah, I had to go to the hospital, and then I had to check up with my local doctor because I had to do like a 2 week kind of thing. But yeah, I really wanted to go to NEC and see all you guys, but he said I basically couldn't, and I tried playing Street Fighter, and all the characters are like shaking around, so I can't even really focus on the screen that much. So I know this is the longest time it's been since I played video games. It's been since November 11th.
Wow.
How bad is that? My arcade stick has
Oh, you
dust on it.
timestamped that
It's
shit, didn't you?
horrible. God, I know.
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, hey, hopefully you get better, and we're so glad that be back here. I kind of gave her some time off so that she can go
Yeah.
ahead and recover. Speaking of NEC and upcoming FGC events, I have these two guests right here with me. First, I'm going to introduce Mr. KIT Beely.
What's up,
going on,
guys?
man?
What's up? Catty Beely here.
And right next to him is formerly of Wake Up SRK fame. We do have one of the iconic commentators to fill your minds with all that hype and excitement, especially for Marvel. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Skisonic. What's
Hey
going
everybody.
on?
It's awesome.
So guys, NEC. What's going on for NEC? You guys gonna be there?
I will be, yes.
Nice.
I just had a car accident like Katie myself, but
Yeah,
I'm
except Ski's accident was intense. I mean, man.
I don't have a concussion, so I think that
I
yours
mean,
was a little bit more than mine, but I'm walking away without a car from this accident, so I'm gonna have to rearrange my plans for NEC, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna
Oh,
be able to
no.
make it up there one way or the other. I'll catch a ride.
Okay. Okay.
all right. Well, I mean, again, car crashes and accidents are really no joke here. But so I'm glad that both of you are
I hope
all
we
right.
start a meme right
And,
now about just like fighting game players getting in car crashes. They are no joke, and people just start joking about them endlessly. And I know there have been so many ridiculous stories about people going to tournaments and getting in car accidents. They're some of the best stories, I think, in the history of FGZ.
Hey man, if you wanna share one, feel free to go ahead.
The best one. Okay, well, actually, there's the best one that I know of. It does not involve me, so I will leave that one for you guys to find out in your own time. It's a seasons beating story where like a car where some guys were actually at Applebee's for I think like 8 hours waiting for help because they didn't have money to pay for their repairs. But for me, it was just coming back from CEO. I think it was actually last year. Coming back with this guy you might know as Bibulus, driving back in his car, and he's asleep. I've just started driving. I don't really feel like driving, but I'm driving, and I hear like a loud pop and sort of like some rumbling, and then the car is kind of like, I don't really have control over it. All right, I pull over immediately, get out, look at the tire. The tire literally looks like Wolverine just came out and Swiss cheesed it. Like
Oh my.
it was like
Crazy.
ripped. It was
Jesus.
like I didn't even understand. It was like shredded. It was straight shredded. I'm like, all right, well this is bad, homie. Do you have a spare tire? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well this is not promising.
No,
So
no.
so he has like no spare, no, like nothing. Like, do you have AAA? Like, no. Can you call like a roadside assistance or anything? No, like nothing. I'm like, all right, well, lucky for us, I have AAA. I will call AAA. Call
Nice.
AAA. AAA comes. He didn't have a spare, but he had a donut. But he did not have a jack to put said donut on the car with. So we have to call AAA anyway. They put this donut on, and they're telling us like, yeah, you really don't want to go very far on this thing. You should probably get a tire. And we've driven from Orlando up to we're in Virginia at this point. We've been driving for like 8 hours or so, and I just want to go home because we're not very far from Baltimore where I live. I'm like, look, I can get the fuck out of this car. I'm sorry, I can get the hell out of this car. And you can figure out your tire thing. I don't even care. Like, we just get back to where I'm supposed to be. Then, like, you have phone, internet, all that stuff. Can we take this donut back 2 hours to Baltimore? Dude, tow truck guy is like, no, you need to go get a tire. There's a 24-hour tire place in DC you could go to right now. So we got to go get a tire at like 5, 6 in the morning from this 24-hour used tire place in DC. And we get there, and they're like, yeah, you could have driven, I don't care how long, on this donut. It's just kind of, like, don't go too fast on it, and you would have been fine. But here's your tire, bro. Of course, I had to loan the guy the money for the car, which he has paid me back since. Great guy, Bibulus, good guy.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was just a hassle, like a super hassle, man. And I got back home and like I immediately went to sleep, and then one of my friends came over and like he wanted to go get sushi after that, and it was like we got in a fight. It was, all right, that's another part of the story. But all right, car accident. There you go. Boom.
How about you, Bailey? Did you get in any accidents, or what do you think?
No, I'm
Yeah, let's go 3 for 3 here.
I'm actually been pretty lucky and fortunate.
That's good.
All my accidents has been like a long time ago. And they're minor fender benders, very minor. Can't even tell if the vehicles got hit. So I've been fortunate.
Nice.
Can't say that I've.
Man, you have to really think though, like for people that are like traveling out to like all these terms, like you ski, like you drove out from CEO, back to your homestead, like that's a pretty far place. Like for people who are just beginning to travel, like I got my license like a year ago, like just beginning to travel, like 7 hours when you're like carpooling or like when you're in the back seat, your ass is knocked out. It may not seem that long, but you're traveling out of state and and out of your sense of security, like it gets pretty rough and your mentality gets pretty messed up from it.
Especially you went to a tournament, you're not sleeping properly. You probably, a day earlier, had a couple of drinks. You know, a lot of people usually leave right when the tournament's ended, you know, so you're even more excited, you exert more energy, and then you're going to get in a car and drive for like 6, 8 hours.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
God. I mean, that's like for NEC last year, which granted, the weather was horrific, you know. But I heard, man, so
That
many
that just
people were having
adds to the
problems with
the eventual
that.
calamity
It was
though.
horrible.
Stay safe, everybody. Do not get in the car and drive 8 hours after the tournament's over. If you have a, I mean,
But then you got to
it's
pay for an extra day, Ski.
look. I know, but listen, no, I'm serious. This is real out there. I
I
know.
know.
I've been in all these situations, and I've done all of the numbers because I've been sitting there driving for 9 hours with nothing else to stimulate me, but sitting there and trying to like figure
Right.
out how I could do this better. And I mean, if you got to go too far after the tournament, man, you probably had a bunch of people that were going with you, and it's totally worth it for you to all pitch in that extra $20 and stay the night. If you got to drive
I
like
agree.
couple hours, maybe, like that's it, because Sunday is very taxing at tournaments, and you're likely to be tired because, like you said, you haven't really slept very well all weekend, very
Right.
likely. Like you probably didn't sleep very well Saturday, then you woke up kind of early Sunday comparatively to get things in to watch the finals and all that. So that kind of stuff can really be dangerous. So it's important
Oh,
to stay safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And besides, like, you know, you're
Yeah,
not
like I said
even
before.
eating properly
Go
or
ahead.
anything else. It's all, you know. Speaking about
Like I
driving,
said, it just all takes a
we
toll.
should all be driving to Tennessee in the beginning of
Yes.
January for KIT.
Look at that
Oh
shameless
man,
plug.
always.
Look at that grin on her
Always.
face, like you know, guys.
I have so much KIT swag. It's just not even funny. If I can get KIT on it, I'd do it. I love
Hey,
it.
I haven't been there, but
All right,
that
guys. Well,
tournament gets a lot of great feedback from all of these guys that I know that I've been friends with forever on the East Coast, man. They make it out, and they're they're always looking to go to it. So good on you, man. It's
Thanks,
I hope to
thanks,
make it out
thanks. It means
sometime.
a lot to us. It means a lot to us. No, we try. We try.
so let's take a look into KIT's history because personally, me, I hadn't really heard about you guys until years of
Mhm,
recent. So do you want to spend some time kind of like tracing back your roots to how
Yeah,
KIT
sure.
came to be?
I'll make it short, but long story short, um, I started the tournament scene like in the early 2000s. The first KTs early like 2003. We did it at like a local like Go USA, so it's like a little go karts and mini golf place. We ran it like a little corner. It was literally one TV and like four people came. So it's come a long way. But throughout the years, we continue to run them, and more people showed every year. Traditionally, we've always been like a 1 day tournament, and that's probably why most people haven't heard of us until we branched out and say, hey, we need to go big. We decided to go to a 3 day. This year was like really the biggest year for us. Earlier January, and we had a lot of good key players show up from all across all the games. I mean, not just Street Fighter. Street Fighter, Tekken, Marvel, Injustice was really good. So from there, that's really where we started pushing. Really the social media, getting the word out, and just talking to people. And the biggest thing that I've noticed that's really helped us out is just for us to talk to other tournaments, go out and hang out with other players. And that's what I love. I mean, that's one of the things I enjoy, going to tournaments. You guys will see me often, like, because I'm
Yeah.
always, if I can, I'm there. Like if I
Yeah,
can make the time.
definitely at a lot of the tournaments. And I think that's something important too for people that, want to start getting into having, Rambats at their, local scenes, or maybe something a little bit larger. I mean, it's important that, everyone can at least have someone to lean on and ask, hey, did you try this? How did it work out for you? And then you guys can kind of feed off of each other so that you don't make the same, mistakes. You can learn off of each other.
Yes, it's very true, very true.
Yeah.
And
So how did it go from one TV and four people to a plethora of like just enthusiasts? So you guys said you started in like 2003. I'm going to say we're going to place that the fighting community and like the
Yes,
dark ages.
yes.
We had barely any method of social media. So how did you get the word out there?
The internet was still around then, but instead of Facebook, and instead of Twitter, instead of Twitch, even it was just forums. Just forums, word of mouth, and that's how we communicated. We communicated through forums, through email, and saying, hey, look, there's a tournament coming up, and we just know, throughout the years we just met each other and going out through the cities, and then from there it's like, hey, let me get your contact information. So just call me if something comes up, and then from there we just slowly started building, locally. That's the biggest thing, is to build your local scene, and get the players out there, within your state, within the day's driving, and that's really where we started. We started from the local scene, and then slowly people started noticing. It's like, oh, okay, this people are showing up to KIT, more and more every year. And basically it got to the point where like, oh wow, we're getting pretty big. Maybe we should do something with this. Which is why we decided to push it forward, and then really, really push it to be a major status. But I really honestly don't have like an exact formula of how like KIT turned out to be what it is now. I just know that it's just a whole bunch of friends, coming together, having a good time, and playing games, playing the games that we love, and that's really what brought us together. And it's just like, hey, always see you next year, and then this is where we're at.
It's good.
So it's not just you that's running this whole KIT
Yes,
scheme.
it's not just me.
Obviously, you have like some tournament organizers, runners, people that reach out to get partnerships, sponsorships, even. So who are they?
I definitely want to give a shout out. He's also on the stream. Ian Davis. He's my partner in crime for KIT. He's, him and actually Charlie Dyke is both. Those two have kept KIT up and running this whole time. Because for me, life hit me. I started going to school. I started working. So I took a step back from the fighting game scene. I played a little bit and watched, but less tournament, less tournament travel. And Ian and Charlie stepped up, and they continued the KIT legacy and kept it on year after year, even though I decided to step back. So shout outs to those two guys, much love to them. And then as far as now with the recent turnouts, we got Panda X Gaming, or Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a huge part of KT's success. He's our main streamer, and he will be, until forever. So shout outs to Jonathan as well. And then we just got a lot of family members, friends, too many to name, just to be honest. And really it's just, to me, it just feels like more, a lot less of like just running a tournament, just more of like friends and getting together.
Yeah.
And that's really where the magic is for me. That's why I always enjoy KIT, and that's why I enjoy going to tournaments. I mean, I see the same thing whenever I go to all these other tournaments. I see the guys. I see Big E doing his thing. I mean, and he has a family, on his arms, and it just feels the same. It just feels like, oh wow, this happens everywhere. And same thing I noticed for going to the West Coast. Alex Valle, he's super awesome guy. And same thing for him, when I went to SER, I just saw, the same similarities that I see in KIT, just, a bunch of people, friends, family getting together to make something big happen. Cause
we're
just
like
a
a big
more to one.
dysfunctional family.
We are.
With some of those crazy uncles and aunts.
Yeah, we are.
But you always love them and want to see them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
and in the end, you always want to see them do well.
Yes.
I
yes,
mean, there might be
this is
some
very true.
rivalries and everything else, but at the end of the day, we always have each other's backs.
Yes, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing, I do see like hanging out with people and seeing them, and it's crazy. I actually see some of the people through these tournaments more than I see like some of my personal friends, some of my family members. Like that's crazy for me to see. Like, I'll get to see a player X more than I would like a sibling. Which is weird to believe, but it's cool in a way,
I think it's sort of funny too how you can take your vacation time and try to allot it and think, oh man, okay, well, I could travel to here, but then I wouldn't be seeing all my friends at this tournament. So, then consequently, you're always you're always trying to plan out your summer tournaments, your winter tournaments. Like, yeah,
This is true. Yep.
you want to see everybody, keep in the
That's
know.
That's the best thing about these tournaments, man. Like once you experience a major event for yourself, and then you start to make your connections and build your relationships, like that's it. You're instantly hooked because it's like, oh, it goes from being at, like, let's say NEC, like, oh man, we gotta do it again for Winter Brawl. Like you're having, like, besides the tournament, you're having such a great time with friends and going out. I mean, drinking or eating or whatever you guys are doing, but it's like you're creating, like, a memory that you can relive. I think that's a
Yes.
good way that I can put it. And so it's like, yeah, dude, like, you can either go, stay home and the stream monster it up or whatever, but then you'll just have this lamenting feeling, like, man, I could
It's
have
different.
been out there.
It's different watching from home and then being there. I always tell everybody, if you just make it out, just go. Even if you're just walking around, just watching people play.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much fun.
Now, how about you, Ski? I mean, you've been to so many tournaments. I mean, over time, does that, excitement still last? Or, I mean, do you kind of start getting used to it? I mean, what? Because, I mean, man, you must do almost all of them.
I've been to more than my fair share of tournaments, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I keep coming back is and to an extent it really doesn't fade. Like, it's great when it's new and you're still discovering where you're going to be in this kind of community. Like Bobby was talking about, forming your connections, finding out who maybe your core crew is going to be when you go to your tournaments and everything. But really, I've gone from just like a player to always trying to help out. I've even organized my own tournament. It wasn't as big as KIT, but I got to run a couple of them. And of course, doing commentary and everything, it's just that even within just like the tournament itself, there's many different places, many different ways to help or to participate. So, I'm always finding something new or finding a new way to amuse myself. And nowadays, I like to go to tournaments and like not even necessarily play and just watch and chill and stuff, and I just feel like, whatever. I've gone through so many different phases, and they're all just as equally satisfying to me. I just like fighting games, and the tournaments are really where fighting games live. These are the people that love them, and sharing that love is the best part.
Now, I know you're a TFC, and you play El Fuerte. So what did you think about Pepe Day?
Man,
that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was good, yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sad that I'm pretty happy that Fudo made it to Capcom Cup because I feel that he deserves it. Mm-hmm. But just the other day, at DreamHack, I was really hoping that Pepe Dai would be able to pull off a miracle. Now, I think that he's definitely the best Forte, like, that has played the character, and I've been playing the character since like the game came out and trying to follow as many good players as I can, and he does things that, other people, even if they have those kinds of ideas, they're not able to do them as proficiently. He's able to kind of like push his identity, like control. What am I trying to say?
He what I see is it looks
push
like
his weight
controls
around
the whole screen.
Yeah, like he's really able to push like control. He controls the whole screen in the way that it feels like he's everywhere at once. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like an intangible that I think that he brings to the character that makes him particularly amazing. And I've had all these conversations with people about the character in the past few weeks, and everybody tells me he's really good now. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't really feel like that. But I feel like if you are able to adopt this mentality that Pepe Dai has, then you can be pretty successful with the character. And that's good enough for me.
Yeah, he's definitely good.
He's ridiculous.
Yes, he is. Cool guy too. From what I see on the stream, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He had, he did like 40 money matches the first day and like 40 money matches the second day or something. And all this time, he just got people coming into his room. He doesn't even care. Like, people would just knock on the door and somebody else would go open the door. And then these people would just walk in and he's just sitting there playing, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their money he's taking. Let's be honest, dude.
That's true.
I think it was what, $10 first to 3, right? Is
Something
that
like
it?
that. I think you could play
Oh, wow.
maybe more if you wanted to, if you were so inclined.
Yeah.
Empty your pockets.
I mean, there's also good money because Fuerte, those matches go pretty quickly. So you want to be like, come on, strike while the iron is hot. Come on, keep them coming.
The most digital version of rock, paper, scissors I've ever seen in my
Absolutely.
life.
Definitely. Oh my goodness.
Really, man. You do you have a history with fighting games? Like what did you play before becoming the KIT
Everything.
organizer?
As far as fighting, the first game that made me travel is Tekken. I travel a lot for Tekken 3, Tekken Tag 1. That's really where the tournament scene grew up for me. Obviously, wherever there's a Tekken tournament, there's always like a Street Fighter tournament, or I guess in that case, Marvel 2, and Soul Blade, Soul Calibur. Yeah.
Blade.
Soul Calibur. So I mean, I play a little bit of everything. Nowadays, I don't have as much time as I like. I do dabble a little bit in everything. I play Ultra. I'm looking forward to Guilty Gear. That game looks awesome.
Oh yeah, the new
It's
one.
going to be amazing. Yeah, I've played the demo too, the Japanese demo. Like on the PS4, that game looks phenomenal. It's a really awesome looking game. Looking forward to that. And I'm a huge Marvel fan. Obviously, that's why we picked up Cloud. So Marvel 3 is super hype. I enjoy watching it. But nowadays, I spend a lot of time really watching streams of tournaments of other players. So a little bit less of me playing. And I just consider myself OG. I'm just that old guy that it's time to step back and let the new blood come in and take over and play.
No, man, you don't look that very, very
A lot
old.
of people.
I look older than you. I'm 21 years old. I look older than you.
I got
Can
over
I
10
just say,
years
I
on
got
you.
this Soul Blade theme song in my head for the last 5 minutes now, and I'm jamming. It's the best. You guys, I don't know if you guys have seen the intro to Soul Blade, but
It's
my God.
Yeah.
It's like probably the best fighting game intro, period. And it's like 15 years ago, so it's actually not even that good if you watch it, but just the song is insane.
Oh my. Wait, was that the one with the girl singing and screaming all over the place?
Yes.
Oh, we all need the sun.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the joint.
That's it.
Oh my god! Like Soul Blade was just such a. It was a
cool
fun, albeit unconventional game, but holy. That
song. Oh my god, it's so good.
Why don't they? Why don't they make
just
them like
put
that
that on
anymore,
every
man?
game? Because it's the best,
Yeah.
and there's no way to beat it. It is perfection has been achieved.
Well, that's like vanilla with oh my god, what was that? Unstoppable?
Indestructible.
Well, Indestructible. Yeah.
Indestructible?
What the heck?
That
That's
I
so
don't
going
think.
to be on Street Fighter 5. I'm calling it out right now. Yeah.
I mean, if I were to rank the top 3 fighting game intro themes, it would be the Soul Blade theme. I mean, Indestructible because everybody likes it, so that's 2. But is nobody gonna give shout outs to Sparking? Like Tekken 5?
I didn't hear it.
That was good. That was really awesome.
You don't.
That was really
Dude,
awesome.
It just went well with the cinematics. You see, Feng Wei punching at his master. He's killed his master in cold blood. You're like, man.
I never was a fan of any of the particular Tekken intro songs, but they always have the best stage music because every stage
they
is
do.
freaking rocking.
Killer
I'll agree with
Instinct
that,
had some
yeah.
great music.
Killer Instinct did.
Yeah,
Yep.
they still do. I mean,
Yeah.
and so did you guys play Eternal Champions?
Who didn't?
Oh,
Oh my god, that game was epic. We need to have
every year I go to
I
Winter
forgot
Brawl.
about that game until I started posting about some things, and someone mentioned, "Hey, what about Eternal Champions?" I was like, "My god, I forgot about that.
Every year I go to Winter Brawl, there's always that BOIOC section, and I
Oh,
see
they play
Turtle
it?
Champions on there.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Was it like a side tournament?
Like
Oh man, I'm
yeah,
entering that.
because
Good
I
Lord.
remember
Yeah, that's good.
I remember Winter Brawl, like I think it was like 2011 or like it was like some 2-3 years ago. I believe this is when they were at the Sheridan. No, wait. No, yeah, it was at the Sheridan. So this is when Big E had brought in like those Tag 2 cabinets, and then right beside it in that one room, this big screen with Eternal Champions. I'm like, man, what the hell is this? And I turned to my friend Piran. Ski, you might know Piran. She helps out with like Big E a lot. And it's like, oh, dude, that's Eternal Champions. I'm like, dude, I'm going to totally wreck this kid in this game that I don't know. So he picks an owl and proceeded to whoop my ass. That's all I have to say
That
about
game
that.
was-
Why did we start talking about Eternal
We're
Champions?
just talking
I'm
about
salty.
old school games, but yeah,
I
I
know.
played it all. I mean, growing up, I was
Yeah.
talking on the chat, but like, Rise of Robots, that's a really horrible game that we that played. Clay Fighter was fun.
Oh, Clay
First
Fighter. Yeah,
time.
that was a good one too. Yeah, the snowman and
War Gods? Please tell me
War
you play
Gods,
War
War
Gods.
Gods, Shaq Fu, just all those games, growing up, because you didn't really have anything, you didn't have a lot of options. But at that point, for me, a fighting game was a fighting game. I'll play it, I'll pick it up, I'll play it. But yeah, nowadays is, like I said, I enjoy watching it. I play whenever I can, but I'm more of a casual player.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ski? More like a handful of years ago, we kind of heralded you as a, pretty top TVC player. But what'd you play before that?
I got into tournaments with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I went to NEC, like the first one, and I didn't really know what it was or anything. My friend just kind of took me to it. He's like, "We're going to this Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournament. Taking you there after you get off work. We're going." I'm like, "All right, dude, whatever. Cool. I'm totally down." I mean, we played the game quite a bit. Like, I was competitive in it and everything, and I was actually like, I was going on Shoryuken at the time, but I did not. This is kind of, I was just talking about this today. This is the scrubbiest thing ever. I did not know that there were forums on Shoryuken.com, because the site used to have a terrible layout, and you wouldn't even really know that the forums were there unless you knew that was where you were going.
Yeah.
And I was still kind of like not. I hadn't really been on an internet forum before, so I didn't know that that's where all the conversation was and that's where all the learning was at the time. It was like what Facebook is now back then. So I was going on the site for like months, and my friend was like, "Yeah, dude, I just learned all these strategies off of Shoryuken.com." And I go, and it's like, press quarter circle forward plus punch to do fireball. It's just like move lists. And then there were articles about tournaments. And I'm like, dude, how are you? There's no combos on this site, and you know all these combos. So he took me to NEC 1 because he found it on Shoryuken. And then like maybe 6 months later, I ended up joining the website and going to like B5 that year. And so I was always really into Marvel 2 competitively, and going all the way back to Street Fighter 2, the original one. When I saw that game in arcades, I just thought it was like the coolest game. It was just obviously the best game. And whenever a new Street Fighter came out, I was down. So I've always been really, really into fighting games, particularly Street Fighter.
So, before you headed to NEC, was it really just you and your friend just playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2, or did you have like a collective scene there? Or?
We had actually a small scene like locally. Basically, he went to high school with me, and so did some other players. Before Marvel 2 came out, we were all into fighting games a little bit. We had an arcade that had Marvel vs. Capcom 1. So we kind of met each other there, and then me and my one friend, the guy that eventually took me to that tournament, we would meet after school a lot and play Alpha 3, because we just wanted to play some games, and we just go to his house, play a bunch of Alpha 3. I'm picking like Vism 8 on or something, and then like we would part ways or whatever. But it was mainly that Marvel 1 thing that we all played, and like I said, I was playing Chun-Li Ryu, being like the scrubbiest scrub possible, doing like 1, 2, 3 super, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the best. And he's doing pretty much the same thing. Then the next day, I will never forget this. The absolute next day, he comes in, and he's playing Red Venom Strider, and like he hits me and he infinites me. And I'm like, what? What are you doing? Who told you this? It was like the thing that you imagined back then, because we didn't know about that kind of thing. It was like you imagine like somebody knows the code. They're gonna come in, they're gonna put the code in, and then they're just gonna beat you. They're gonna take your money, and you won't even know. Like it blew my mind. I'm like, where did you get these? What? And he's like, Shoryuken.com. Go to Shoryuken.com. So I'm going there and I'm reading these stupid move lists, but I learned a lot just playing him, not realizing that all the information was there for me, and it took me a little while to find it. But yeah, we had a little scene. Sorry, to answer your question, we did have like a little scene, and we played Marvel 1 like between each other, and like I said, he kind of got out ahead of us. By the time Marvel 2 came out, we were all like waiting for it essentially. So we used to have little mall tournaments where like the rules were like you could only pick this character once, so you would only get to play Cable once in the tournament, all this kind of stuff. Before I really found like the greater community and found like what like the standards were and everything. But we just had enough like local people that were interested and have fun playing the game before really like tournaments even came out, that we did have like a local casual scene that kept things going.
Nice.
Because I'm a little bit curious. So, like, because you're there with your friends and like you guys play fighting games and that's fine. And then you start delving a little bit more into like the deep strategies. Like this dude started hitting you with infinites and whatever, and eventually you get taken to your first tournament. So, how were your first tournament experience like at your NECs or at your Battle by the Bays, like compared to just meeting up at the arcade and playing with your friends?
It was really different to me. And I didn't, because I mean, going to NEC, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. But by the time like B5 came around, I was like, I was like a pretty young kid, like flew across the country to go stay with Viscount for a week and play, in this tournament. And I had no idea what to expect, but I just knew I was going to have the time of my life. But for something like NEC, it was just like, whoa, like all these people came here to play this game to the point where like this pretty large size arcade was like packed with people. And I remember talking to this one guy, right? And he says, like, hey, I think Justin Wong's going to win this tournament. And I was like, who is that? Like, who? Why? I don't know. Like, who's that? And he was just like, he's like this kid from New York. Like, I think it's going to be him or like Arturo Sanchez. And I think that this was like, this dude was like the best Spider-Man player that I knew. So I was like, yo, Spidey24 is saying this? Oh, yo, like this must be legit. And he's like, yeah, it's either going to be him or like this Arturo Sanchez guy. And I remember my friend playing Arturo and almost beating him. And Arturo, I think, was playing Strider Doom at the time. I was like, that guy's not that good. It's definitely going to be this other guy, Justin Wong. Justin wins the tournament. And I was like, yup, I knew it. Who's Justin Wong again? I don't know, but I knew he was going to win this tournament. That's how I became a commentator. You see, I started early, just jumping in, making a prediction, and sticking it.
So, all right, so let's start talking about your little commentary gig. So, how did you get like so into it that you realized that you really wanted to present yourself to the community as like an icon, like the person you see on your screen here, just shoutcasting this plethora of information to all these people? Like, what made you want to do that? What's
going to like, I don't know if it happened at B5, but going to Evo every year, Tragic and he still does commentary on the house mic live for the people that are there, and it's much more like the kind of thing that you would hear over the PA at a basketball game or something, like stuff to keep you hype and to keep the energy going. And I just thought that was like the sickest thing, and I just wanted to do it and like do that too, because I was like, yo, like that energy is amazing. I want to do that too. Like that's cool. I want to do it. That's just what I thought. I just thought it was like, I want to do that too. I want to bring that energy because I feel like I have something to offer on that. Basically, that was really what started it. And at some point, I literally was standing there, and Madge, the guy that runs SonicHurricane.com, he just handed me the mic like, here, you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. But that was like actually the first year I think that my voice that I lost my voice. So I had real trouble like expressing myself on the mic then, and then I always wanted to make up for it. And like I just luckily got opportunities to continue and do it. And by the time we were streaming, I was like, I want to bring this excitement home to people that can't make it because at this point I really understand what it's like to want to go to a tournament and not be able to attend because I've been going to tournaments for so many years. There's always some tournaments that I can't go to.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be like the person that is like the conduit for the energy in the room to the people at home. And that was like the next step. And that's pretty much why I've continued to do it.
I think it's important too
Awesome.
that sometimes things are happening on the screen that people may have not caught, or new people that are in the community may not quite understand. They'll need a little bit of, a description, of what actually happened there, like maybe some type of a frame trap or block string that people that aren't familiar, it's something that you physically can't see play out, but you guys do a good job of explaining, and educating us. On top of that, oh man, I had a good one and I lost it. Oh no!
Man, you
I
make
was
me feel
looking
so
to
bad for
say.
your
I'll,
brain right
Wait a
now.
minute.
I want to just
It'll
like
come back in a minute.
massage your brain and make it come back to life.
well,
It was a good one.
while you're thinking about that, let me piggyback on what you were saying. Yeah, especially the terminology that for especially specific fighting games that people use, especially like new people wouldn't be accustomed to, like for example, Smash Brothers. Your fair, bear, dare, like someone will be looking at like what's a dare? Did Falco dare him to do something, or like what is this? But like I it's really really great that you guys just kind of like slow the pace down, especially between matches. Like for those of you who are just like new to this terminology, dare is a down air. It's an aerial move that you perform with the control stick tilted down. Like just this much information being and that's how you make these casual guys like kind of feel home and kind of feel
Yeah.
part of the like an actual part of the community. Like a lot of them would just feel kind of shallow. Like, dude, I don't know what any of this is. I'll get you ridiculed. But it's like even from miles away, like hundreds of miles away, it's like don't worry about this. We got you. And then you just kind of like spill it out then and there. What would you what sort of commentary would you like consider like yourself to be like color commentators like the yipes like the the ooh the scoops or do you figure yourself to be like a a really like calm calculated like play by play or a mix of both?
I made up a word. It's called hypnolytical. That's what I that's my word for my style of commentary.
You got to trademark that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hypnolytical. You guys heard it here. It's because everybody says, "Yo man, you're so hype." And it's true that I am because I'm actually very excited about things that go on the screen. I just love it. And it really really like excites me. So I let that come through, but it's really important for me to tell the game as it is and like try to it's just I find it really interesting like when the interplay of the things that are going on, and like I am like I guess like a pure fighting game fan or whatever. So that is important to me as well to convey because really that is what I think is important when you're taking things away. I mean, you see things on the screen that look cool. You saw it for yourself. There's really no reason for me to like say like that looked cool, although sometimes I do because hey, shit, this just looks cool, right?
Shit
But
looks cool.
but like if I can bring something extra to it and explain something that went on, even if 50, 60, 70% of the people that are watching get it, then 30, 20, whatever percent of the people learn something or catch something that they didn't see, then I'm very happy about that. And I hear that from people and I understand what it's like to be in that position because I consider myself like an expert on fighting games, but I'm very into video games and competitive video games. I started watching StarCraft in like 2010. I was a complete noob at the game, and I watched it voraciously. I was really into the scene and just this whole competitive infrastructure, and the game looked very interesting to me as well. So I really barely ever played the game, but I learned so much from it through watching it. And now I have Dota 2, which is a game where I was actually a scrub at, and I like stuck my fingers in my ears and I was like, I don't want to learn about this game. Now that when I played Dota 1 back in the day, now Dota 2 is out and I see
Right.
like, wow, like this game is so rich competitively. What I thought was going to limit me and like my ability to like enjoy myself playing this game, it's like the complete opposite. Like I feel that playing it the right way and learning like the strategies that are actually strong and everything is like so much more interesting than trying to just go in and be like, I just want to, I don't care about anything. I just want to pick the characters I want to pick and like do my best and then close the game. Like it's so cool to me, and I have this opportunity to see this game grow and learn the game as the scene grows. Like I just feel like I've experienced this commentary thing from so many different perspectives that I try to, give something for everybody that will be out there listening.
I remember what I was going to say, building on that. For me, what makes a good commentator is, like you said, you have to have that excitement to keep people watching. On top of the fact that you have to be knowledgeable. And you have to also know, what I appreciate is I want to know the history of the two players that are battling it out. Have they had previous matches at other tournaments, even years in the past, what happened then? What were their characters? I want to know about frames. I want to know about where they are in the tier list versus each other. I mean, if people, don't have that kind of information and everything, and they're just on there almost kind of like filling time, I'll just change the channel. You know what I mean? I like to be kind of educated with this kind of stuff. And then, when you guys start getting all excited and everything too, it just brings more to the game. It helps bring us at home, some of that experience that you guys are having there.
That's the goal. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
I feel it's especially hard in fighting games for kind of like new or even intermediate commentators to kind of bring that energy and that knowledge at the same time. Because I think it was Ultra David that said, you already, like, at base value, you already have all the information like on that screen. You already know the health bars, the super bars, and all that stuff. If you really like wanted to, you can honestly just like kind of tune them out because you have everything at their disposal. But just the thing about but that's why I definitely love the fighting game community's commentators so much. It's just that, like, not only do they have, do they reinforce that information, but as Kate said, we have our rivalries, we have our bad blood, we have our experiences, and these guys do their homework on these guys. It's like, it's almost like watching a story unfold. You're watching this like first to 15 set Chris G versus Kane Blue River. You're like, man, how did that come to be? Just tell the story, watch it unfold. And now people just get that much more into it.
It's interesting that you put it like that because I think when Ultra David's saying that, he's implying this comparison to other games where, the other video game commentators, where it's like something like a StarCraft or Dota, there's the screen, but there are other things that are going, like you cannot see everything on the screen at once. So in a way, they're interpolating extra information that is happening, but for the benefit of you because you can't see it. But for us, it's a little bit different because, like you said, all the information is there. So what we're doing is like either going on top of it or trying to add extra. And so I could talk about commentary forever, I won't, but I study commentary a lot, just like from, like an analytical perspective or whatever. I'll go just like watch sports that I'm not interested in or do I know anything about and try to like listen to commentary and like see what they're bringing to it. And for us though, in a lot of ways, like it's for me, I grew up not a real huge sports fan, but I just loved wrestling. And it's similar to that where you have everything on the screen basically, and they are bringing themselves into it and telling the story as well. Like there's a narrative that is interesting and meaningful as well. And it's obviously like not as Hollywood, but I do think that that kind of thing is valuable. And especially for me, like I've always felt like an absolute expert in it for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because I felt like I knew like the whole history of the game. And so I always did try to bring specifically that element about like what these styles are, where they have met before, and like how you should expect them to like match up or whatever.
What would be say someone's kind of wanting to get into the commentary gig? What would be like the first first resources that you point them to, or whatever like that?
So I don't know if there's anything specifically that I would tell them to look at, but what I would tell them to do is just do it. Don't be shy about thinking like, oh well, I've always wanted to do this, but I can't get a chance. I really want to get on, but I can't really find my way. Like there are a million ways for you to put your voice over video games. Before I was doing commentary, I was already doing like podcasting and stuff, so I felt comfortable getting myself up on the mic anyway.
Right.
So and that was back in the day. Like now you have Twitch. You can live stream yourself doing commentary on an actual match if you want. You can go on YouTube, pull off some matches and do your own commentary. That's like what a lot of commentators in other games did. So there's room for that in Street Fighter. Just do it. The best way, like I think, to do this kind of thing is to do it. And as far as like the opportunities to do commentary at a big tournament, like those are like who knows, right? Like that, like I don't know if I'm going to get those ever. They are just kinds of like there's a lot of factors that are going on in there. So
Sure.
That's something that's great to shoot for, but if you really love doing it, then just do it, and everything else will come. If you need to, put yourself out there and just try to make yourself the best commentator that you can be, and keep going.
Do you hear that, Beely? Because I see you in the chat saying I can't do commentary to save a life.
I can't. I'm gonna leave it for the commentators. But to piggyback off the whole conversation about commentary, coming from a TO's perspective, or from my perspective for KAT, we've been approached a lot as far as like, hey, can I do commentary for, top 8 for this game, or for this game, and being where I'm at, I get that a lot. The best advice I can give to people who are interested or want to do commentary for really not just my major, just for any major in general, is basically what Ski was saying. Just get used to it, be comfortable, put yourself out there and then commentate. Because the worst thing I hate watching on any streams, to watch a stream when you have a commentator who doesn't really, and they're not really sure what's going on with the fight. Outside of the fact of telling me what I already can see, like, oh, this guy's at half life. Well, I already know that, but in order for me to know like the footsie games between the two characters, or the tier list, or if there's any history between the two players, or history on any one particular player, that's helpful for me, because that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the extra stuff, because I understand the game enough already to know who's winning, who's not. And obviously you can't predict what's going to happen. It's always cool to see like an upset, or a guy come back with the magic pixel. And yeah, when that happens, it's kind of hard to mess that up, when it comes to commentating. But as far as everything else, that's what we look for. When people do approach us, I always ask is like, hey, have you commentated before? Do you have any footage of where you've commentated? What are you known for? Do you play yourself? Do you know the information about the game? And that's the things that I look for, when I'm considering people to commentate. Because, the biggest thing I have to worry about, not necessarily worry, but, I want to look out for the people who can't make it out to my tournaments, to make it the best enjoyable possible event for them to watch. Even though they're not here, I still want them to keep watching, because that's how you build the scene. That's how you build a community to enjoy. So I mean, for me, I don't want to watch a guy who stays silent for 30 seconds in a match. That's a very long time. And to wait till something happens, it's like, oh, okay, now he's coming in, but filling in the dead space, I think that's important. That's where like the knowledge of the game and knowledge of the history of the players is very cool. I think it's key to me personally. And that's what I enjoy as far as watching commentary. So
Yes, you're nodding your head a lot there. You got something to piggyback off of? Because I I was really intrigued by the fact that it's like, have you commentated before? Send me a video. Like, do you think a potential commentator should like send in like a sort of press kit to these tournament organizers?
I mean,
if they wanna?
it's really surprising to, but okay, so I was doing commentary when there was no concept of it. It was just like, oh, right, like you were already doing it. So it's a little bit different now where there are people that will come from out of wherever, and be like, hey, I want to do commentary. And it's like you said, you have to ask them, like, do you even play this game? Do you know this game? Because like for me, everybody was already a player. It was impossible for me to come up and be like, can I be a commentator? It was like, yeah, well, you play the game already. Like, we know that you play the game because everybody that's playing the game we've already known. So, and we know that you can talk. So here, right?
mhm.
And now it's kind of the opposite. So I think that you should definitely, if you are somebody that hasn't gone to years of tournaments like I did, it's probably useful to maybe not necessarily have a press kit, but you want something to be able to point to and say, hey, sure, I did commentary at this tournament and there were such and such people watching and here's some footage. Or, no, I've never really done live, like a live tournament. This would be my first time, but maybe I have this Twitch stream, and I stream 2-3 times a week playing Street Fighter 4, and I talk about myself playing. I do commentary while I'm playing, and then we watch some videos. I do commentary, anything like that. You just have something that you can point people towards to establish yourself. Then you hear right here that you're already ahead of the competition. For
Yes,
me,
yes.
for me, it's like people know me now, so I'm lucky enough to not have to do that. But if you're trying to come up, then you want to have all the resources that you can available.
Yep, I agree. And that's the biggest thing. If you're not well known, it's really tough. It's really tough to ask somebody, and that's for me, to be honest, I was like, hey, look, this is what I have to look for. I have to look at the community as a whole. I want everybody to enjoy it. And you can't just put somebody in there as to test to be. My tournament can't be a guinea pig for your commentary skills.
Right.
That's a big fear, not fear, but it's just a big worry that I have to just watch out, because ultimately, because for me, during my tournaments, and Big E says the same thing. Like, if you're at the tournament, you're not watching your own streams. You can't. There's no way.
can't.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
So for me, for KIT, I always go back after the fact to see, what did my tournament look like from the streamer's eyes? How did it seem? How did it feel? So I
That's
go back
good.
and I watch all of it. I watch
Nice.
everything. And the only thing that sadly I miss out on is like the stream chat. That's some of those like the hilarious comments and
Hey,
you
that
know.
there's plugins that you can use to get all that back. Like I think within 1 week, you can still go
wow.
and like watch the stream as if it happened and get the stream chat in there. So look into that kind of thing. I think
I'll
that
have to
maybe
take
on
note of
Chrome.
that.
Yeah.
I'll have to take note of that.
It
That's
it
pretty
is sweet.
sweet.
And one thing I wanted to say is I think that that's great of you as a tournament organizer, and I think that all tournament organizers, and I have seen it moving this way, should really pay attention to their stream and
Oh yeah, of course.
who do they want to do commentary, because in the past, it's something that's easy to leave up to the streamer, and let's be honest, like Vic shouldn't have to really deal with who's going to be
No.
on now, or whoever's streaming. That should be a
He has a
decision
lot.
from
Wow.
you, because that's the voice of your tournament in a way. That's the identity that's going to be put across to these people that aren't there.
I agree. I totally agree. And for the streamers, to defend them, I mean, like, it's like you were saying, they're busy. They're busy streaming. They have a lot to do and deal with themselves. So, one less thing for them to have to deal with. And to be honest, I've seen some streamers, good or bad doesn't matter, but people will jump in, grab the mic, put the headset on, and just start talking. And who knows whether or not they can or cannot talk. I mean, I don't know. I don't see a list. I don't. Not always. Anyways, some places I do see lists. I do see lists of like, this is when this guy's streaming from this time to this time. When top 8 comes, these two are streaming. And then for the majors, I believe I see that happen all the time. So that's not I guess it's not too uncommon.
I can be rough out there, man. There's definitely some room for organization on the stream commentator front. I can say that.
Yes, I agree. So that's why we, me and Ian and then Charlie, that's why we look, we go back and look at our stuff from the player's perspective, from the streamer's perspective. I always ask anybody who comes to my tournament and say, hey, what do you like? What do you don't like? And I make an effort to like make changes to things that I hear that people don't like. And especially if somebody comes one year and I don't see them next year, the year after, I was like, hey, why didn't you come? And I ask them to be honest. Sometimes they are honest, sometimes they're not. And sometimes just, life happens, and that's understandable. Let's say if you get married, birthday, whatever, that's fine. Hope to see you again in any future tournament or at the next KIT. Doesn't matter. So that's one of the things that pushed me to start watching streams more. Not only do I watch my own streams, I watch other people's and see, okay, cool. I can dig this information. That's an awesome idea. I like how they did that. Let's see if we can do that here at my event. So, that's one of the things I look for too.
All right. Well, shifting back into the subject of KIT. Earlier in the cast, you mentioned of players you picked up, such as Forever King and Cloud 805. What do these sort of partnerships or sponsorships, whatever you want to call them these days, what do they entail? Like what makes you want to put the brand KIT on them, and what does that entail?
I mean, I can only speak for KIT, without going into specifics. But for me, when I'm looking at players, because we're very, very selective of who we pick for KIT. Obviously, let's get the generics out of the way. They have to be good. They have to be a good player. They have to be well liked. They can't. For some groups, I guess it doesn't matter if the person's like, they could be a villain too, which is cool to have. I do like villains in the FGC. I think they're needed. Just create hype. But for KIT, I look for someone who's good at the game, who actually really enjoys the game, and the kind of player that doesn't play, just for the money, just for the fame. I do enjoy, working with people who really ultimately like whatever game they're playing, and they're well liked, and people know them. So that's one of the things that we look for. But for KFT specifically, we look for like really competitive players. And we look for people who like really have the passion for the game, who really like it, who really enjoy it, and who also go out to tournaments. Because I mean, I get a lot of comments from people or messages from people like, "Hey, I'm so and so, and do you want to pick me up as a player?" And then I look them up. I look up their names. Like, okay, cool. What tournaments have you gone to? What's your gamer tag? Who do you play with? What games you play? And they'll tell me, and I was like, well, you've never been to a tournament ever, like an FGC? Then I ask them why. I don't shut them down at that point. You ask them why. It's like, hey, how come? Because sometimes I've gotten legitimate answers like, hey, look, I have, I'm 16. My mom won't take me anywhere. No, that's cool. That's understandable. That's I can't hate on that. But at that point, it's like, I really look for players that travel anyways, that like the scene, that promote the industry and help the fighting game community. And that's really what, one of the things we look for KIT. And then lastly, really, it's just if the personality of the person fit with us. Because people might like a certain player, he or she might be a good player, but if it doesn't fit with me personally, or just doesn't work with us as a team, then it's not going to work out. Because I'm trying to look for it like long term. I don't want to pick up a player just to drop them off next year and say, hey, you won your tournaments, but now you're slacking, and we're going to let you go. That's not how I see it. I just want to see it long term and really for us to grow together as a tournament and as a player and as a brand to promote and push. But that's for Cloud. Same thing for Forever King. Those two, if you guys notice, those are two I feel like are up and coming. They're relatively new, to the FGC. They're not the Justin Longs, they're not the Ricky Ortizes. Those two guys are veterans. But I feel like we should at least look at some of the newer players that are good, that need exposure, and we need to push them forward because we have to, because if we don't, then where's our future going to be? We're just stuck in the past. But to grow as a whole, to have new players and old players alike team up together, and you have the veterans and the new blood.
Plus give them some new experiences.
Yes, definitely, because that's the thing.
I mean, these guys are young. I think like Christian's like 19 or 20.
Christian's he's 21. He's 21. Yeah,
Is he 21?
and then
Okay.
Jonathan, he also just turned 21 recently too. So they're both just recently turned 21 this year. But yeah, you're right. They're both young. But I feel like they have a lot of great talent and a lot of untapped potential that we don't get to see unless somebody picks them up. That's the whole reason why I brought Cloud to Summer Jam. I was like, this guy, he's such a nice guy. He's an awesome player. We know he's good. He was an Evo. He was a top 8, in Marvel and Evo. So we know he was good. But where was he at before that? You haven't seen him in tournaments. You only seen him at SoCal regionals. Everything in the West Coast. He's never been to the East Coast until the summer at Summer Jam. So that's for me. I wanted to, for one thing, create the hype for obviously for my brand name, but also for the scene. I want people to like get excited, for something new to come in. Yeah, that Cloud's not the first West Coast player to come to East Coast. That's
Well, that's like Pepe Day. Didn't Kappa help send him to Summer Jam? Was that it? Who helped send him to Summer Jam?
Yeah, Reddit Kappa. They paid for him to get to pretty much everywhere that he's gone because I'm like they literally paid for him to get every tournament that he's gone to. He wanted a trip to Evo.
Yeah.
Which is next year. But he's been to tournaments before then.
See, here's the thing. I mean, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, in any way possible, getting some of these guys that are a little bit more underground, that may have, a different type of style, something exciting, something new to see, that have a chance, but not necessarily the means to make it out there, and then we have people out there that are willing to, try, to get them the ability to go out there through, whatever it is, if it's, a sponsor that might be looking at them or, through Kappa or whatever it might be,
TFC and DreamHack recently as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot he was there at DreamHack.
Yeah, it seems like since he made his debut over here, he's just really kind of taken off. He's like he's the new guy on the scene.
I think they really wanted to see him at Capcom Cup, and he's so sad that he didn't make it, man. I remember seeing him after TFC, and I was like, man, like great job. You played very well, and he's just like Capcom Cup. He really wanted to go.
There's always next year. He just, I mean, you got to figure this literally just happened for him. I mean, over here, so hopefully next year, the cards will land a little better for him,
Yeah, after they nerf Alforte, right? Fucking, they're going to do it. They'll do it. Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
But yeah. Going back to the new players, like Forever King, he'll be at NEC, so you guys will get to see him there. He's, like I said, he fits the criteria. He's awesome guy, good player. But he's like super awesome, super nice guy. You hang out with him in person. I was like, man, this guy's really chill. So that's another reason why we picked him up as well. But and the rest of our players too. I mean, we got Little Majin, we got Nice One, and we got Potato Salad. So I mean, we got we got a good slew of players, and all very devoted to their games. You know, they all love and play their games, and they're just great people.
So these partnerships extend just past actually bringing them to your major. You send them to other majors as well.
Because what's for me, you know, or for KT, what we feel, you know, what's the point of a sponsorship of a to a player if we can't get them out? You know, we can, that's the whole point of, to me, you know, or to me and Ian, you know, is to get these players out and get them out there to play. You know, it's cool. I mean, if I only have Cloud at or Nice One or Little Imagine at KIT and just have them there, it's like, hey, you want to come play them? Come to my tournament. You know, it's not like that. You know, that's not what we're trying to promote. And that's also another thing that why I picked up, you know, Forever King. Forever King is from the north. You know, Cloud is from the west coast. You know, we got some people from the south players. You know, known from the east, but you know, we try to branch out. We're not just locked and located in the south. So, you know, that's another thing too. But we definitely like to send our players out wherever we can, anywhere if it's possible. If we can make it happen, then we'll do it.
It's really charitable of you guys to, you know, be giving these newer players a chance to actually make a name for themselves. I mean, people like Forever King, Cloud 805, like, they already made like such an impact, but now it can be saturated across like many different venues and avenues, you know, across the U.S. So you won't have like, you know, the OGs, the Ricky Ortiz and Justin Wong, is just, you know, be like, oh man, he's gonna win. Now it's like, oh wait, Forever King's to be here. You know, he's got like, it's the best bet, man. Like what's he gonna do? You know, like it's
that's definitely
really
like,
great.
it's funny actually. You know, for summer tournaments, like people will message me. It's like, hey, are you sending Cloud out to this tournament? You know, it's like, why are you asking me this? You know, it's like I might go to this other.
They're trying to plan their attacks.
It's like, I might go to this other tournament. I was like, no, just go. I mean, you know, if I send, you know, if I send Majin out, I'll send Majin. If I send Cloud out, or you know, Nice One, whoever, you know, it doesn't matter who I send. Just go in and enjoy the tournament. But I do notice that has an effect on the community, that people have noticed us, and hopefully I'll you know, I'd like to see like other, not just tournaments, just groups in general, like gaming groups and whatnot, to send their players across United States, overseas if they can. Like, you know, for example, Majin, we sent him to France this year. You know, so he won the biggest Tekken tournament essentially in
That
Europe.
guy is crazy good. I remember
He
when
is.
he was like 12 years old or something, and people was like, "You imagine he's like the best king or something." No, it was Guilty Gear, right? He was like, "Axel, like, yo, he's gonna beat everybody." And you're like, "Nah, he's not gonna beat it." People go down to Tennessee, everybody gets bodied
By him, yeah.
playing forever.
Majin, he's a phenomenal Guilty Gear player, and he's just like hidden. He's like a hidden gem. He's so good.
And XR though coming out.
Yeah, XRD. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in that, because it's such an awesome cool game. But yeah, he definitely, he doesn't. And the crazy thing for him, for Majin in particular, he doesn't play Guilty Gear that much. You know, he messes around with it, but for him to be so good at it, for as little he plays,
at fighting
yes,
games. I know,
yes.
just from how
It's
often
like a natural.
games. Yeah.
Yeah. And he used to play a lot of Street Fighter 4 as well too. You know, back in the day, he's a really good Geef player. But he focused a lot of his time into Tekken. You know, that's his love. You know, that's where his main game is.
Awesome.
And you can see it. You can see it in his play style. You can see it in his play. I mean, that's why he's performed the way he has. Just, you know, that's his game. So
Cool.
But yeah, KT, we love players, man. We just love the scene. You know, we do what we can.
That's sick.
All right. Well, it is about 10:31, so we are going to be kind of here a bit short. But I do want to get some final shout-outs from our two guests before heading off. First of all, some Skisonic, since you haven't really talked in like a bit. You have any shout-outs, anything to say for big NEC weekend?
Thanks to you guys for having me on. Thanks to you guys for having me on. It was awesome. A lot of fun. As always, I give shout outs to Keats, because I don't know, he's always the first person I think of when I give shouts out. It's awesome. He's my former co-host, of course. Shout outs to Seth Killian for helping me out with something special just recently. Shouts to the Baltimore fighting community and everybody that loves fighting games everywhere. I'll see you guys at NEC.
Nice.
And before I move on to this guy right here, is that a Circle of the Moon poster behind you?
Yes, it is. Good eye.
Jesus Christ.
People always find some poster and they're like, wow, they're like, is that Wipeout? And I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah. I got good taste, right? Good eye.
Nice.
Dude, like it's just like contrary to popular belief. Like people are like, oh, dude, I like Harmony Dissonance and Soma Cruz. I'm like, dude, I like Nathan Graves. Look at that guy. He just looks
He's
so
awesome.
like he looks
Pretty
so
awesome.
mean. All right, Beely, got any shout outs, man? All you
I mean,
players?
yeah, just shout out to really just you guys, Meterburn, for inviting me. Thanks a lot for just letting me hang out with you guys, and just really community. I'm looking forward to NEC. NEC is gonna be hype. Especially looking forward to that exhibition just along Sanford Kelly. That's gonna be crazy. Just because I mean, recently we saw them. We saw them play in California, so.
Wait. What game is that in? What?
Marvel 2.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Am I doing a commentary on that?
I hope so.
Oh my god.
I hope so. No, it's
Sweet.
it's a first to 10 for $500.
Oh,
Yes.
I like it.
Yes. It's very
The hype's
I
just
know,
building up
it's-
on it already.
I'm very excited for it. I mean, obviously, the whole week NEC is gonna be just like a blast in general, but that exhibition, I'm looking forward to it. It's really cool, and it's gonna be really nice to see everybody again as well. And I guess if I can make a quick plug for KAT, just let people know, pre-registration is still up. Register at katrevival.com/register. You get to see all the games, all the lists and everything as far as like prize pools. And they're guaranteed pots. If you look at them, I'm guaranteeing pots. I'm guaranteeing top 8 payouts for the 4 main games. So for Street Fighter, Marvel, Injustice, and Tekken, I'm guaranteeing top eight payouts. So if you make top 8, you're getting paid. And for all the other games, I have guaranteed pots too. So definitely check it out. Oh yeah, he's pulling it right now. And it's under the info tab where you see all the games. The prices will go up towards the end of the year, and December 31st is the last day to pre-register, and we will not take signups at the door.
Ooh.
This is a pre-registration event only.
Exclamation point.
Yeah. So I cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
Because the event's on January 9th, 10th, and 11th, so it's the second weekend of January, and we also have the invitational that Thursday. For a winner takes all $1,000 for Street Fighter Ultra, which we will be releasing names pretty soon. So you'll get to see who the top players will be, as well as a lot of other good players that will get the chance to win that. That'll be Thursday. All of it will be streamed on Panda X Gaming stream. So he's, like I said, he's our main stream, but we have a lot of other streamers too. If you go to our schedule, so we have it planned out. So I mean, schedule's already set. So if and this is one thing that we're trying to push forward to. So if you want to play a particular game, you already know what time the pools will be on.
Nice.
So you can plan ahead. So if you know that Street Fighter will be on these days, then you can plan for it. Some games will only happen on one day. Some games will only happen 2 days. So hopefully this will help our travelers coming from far to take requests off time, because it's tough. It's really tough to have to request off all 3 days. Some people can't. Some people just can't do it. But yeah, to go back to the streamers, yeah, we got Pendex Gaming, NYC Furby, Funky P, NYC Fab, BG Bootcamp 645, and ST Ultimate. So I mean, we have a lot of streamers on board, and it'll be a lot of stream.
You guys are running a Mario Kart 8
Yep,
tournament?
guaranteed $500. Top 3. Yep, Mario. Yep.
That game is
Mario.
actually,
Nice.
that game is
Yeah,
actually
so-
really hard.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, it'd be such a cool game to have at an event. So we decided to throw it in there.
Cool.
So yeah, our schedule's pretty packed right now, and that's what we have going on for the event. But yeah, don't forget to register, guys. It's not too late. We have plenty of time between now and December 31st. But after that, I'm shutting the doors, and that'll
Running
be
a
it.
tourney.
Yeah, running a tournament, because we want to post polls a week before the event, so that way everyone knows, when they're playing, what times. And that's why we're keeping it to pre-registration only. We're just cutting it early, and just to make it easier for us and for the players as well.
Nice.
And that's why we went ahead and guaranteed the pots. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna guarantee it. Like, these are the minimums. So I mean, if there's more players that bring it beyond the guaranteed minimums, then we'll raise the stakes. It's over $15,000.
Ooh.
That we're giving away. So it's not like a small number. So yeah, we're going all out for this year, and don't forget the trophies will be back this year as well. So for anybody who's missed the custom handmade trophies made by one of the local artists in Nashville, he's a phenomenal sculptor, and you get to see the pictures on them. But they're really amazing handcrafted trophies, and we're the only ones that have them. So that's it's another thing that we can brag about, I guess.
Cool.
Is our trophies. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks again for inviting me. It was fun.
Nice.
All right.
And
Katie, you got anything?
I hope hopefully if Katie, you can make it come out.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can see you. But definitely your health is more important. Ski, you'll be there, so I'll see you there, obviously.
I can't guarantee it, but I will do my best.
You do your best? Okay.
I really hope to make it out.
Where do you live, Ski?
I'm in Baltimore, so Tennessee is like kind of far, but not that far. I mean, still kind of far though. It's about 9 hours, I think.
Oh wow, that's a drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's a drive. But you'll be at NEC, so I'll see you there.
Oh yeah, for
Definitely.
sure.
I'll see you there definitely. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be sure to catch these guys at NEC. Tell them Meter Burn sent you. And Katie, you got anything else to say?
Yeah,
before we sign
everybody,
off?
best of luck at NEC. It's going to be a great time. And then, KIT's right around
there.
the corner. Good luck with all of that. And
you.
yeah,
Thank you.
please pre-register.
Please register, because it'll just make it easy for us, and I don't want to have to turn anybody away.
Yeah.
But that's just part of it. But yeah, I'll be at NEC, and I'll jump on the stream just to talk a little bit about KIT as well.
Good stuff.
Eric's been nice enough to let me do that. So awesome guy, Big E, love him.
All right, guys, and that just about wraps it up for this episode of Meter Burn. Our next session will be about 2 weeks from now, which will be
I think the 16th,
on
right?
Tuesday, December 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern. And now, again, I want to get a quick shout out to Mr. KIT, Billy, and Mr. Skisonic for joining us here, and kind of getting the gears grinding, especially for the amount of events that are going to be forthcoming in the next couple months or so. Be sure to follow these guys on social media. I'll be posting their Twitter links in the chat, and I'll also be posting their Twitter links in the video descriptions for the archives that will be uploaded later on during the week. Important reminder, I will not be using Twitch archives anymore. I will be uploading everything strictly to YouTube. So be sure to follow Meter Burn on social media as well. We do have a Facebook page that we just started up a week ago. We have our Twitter, and then we have the Twitch page, which I will post the YouTube playlist in, so you guys can be all set up and ready to go for our future broadcasts. So, for Mrs. Skisonic, Beely, Miss Katie, Miss Lovely Katie, Miss Concussion Katie, and myself, KIT Blacktastic.
Oh!
We'll be seeing you
You
guys
heard it
next
here
time.
first,
you guys take
folks.
care now.
You heard it here first. Awesome.